Yo, 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 what is up, peoples? I am back home after a little hiatus. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos in the meantime. And we've got a lot to talk about because the update is happening tomorrow night. So tomorrow night is the update. It's going to be maintenance. They've already posted the maintenance here. It's going to be maintenance for about, 8 hours from 4 p.m. Pacific to midnight Pacific, or from 7 p.m. Eastern to 3 a.m. Eastern. And so tomorrow night, at about tomorrow night, Wednesday morning at 3 a.m., I'll be live here on YouTube, diving into the new update and all that good stuff. But before that, of course, we know that we have the live stream. So the live stream is tonight, the 18th at 6 p.m. Pacific or at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's approximately 12 hours, give or take a little bit, depending on how late this video is. Give or take a little bit, it's 12 hours after this video drops. So we will be able to check out tonight, before the patch notes. We'll be able to see what is in store, most of what, not necessarily all of what is in store for this Savage Avengers update with 3RL and the announcer. So yeah, keep it locked here, guys, on the channel. We're going to be live streaming tonight at 9 for the reaction to that update. Should be pretty nice. Hopefully they have some surprises for us, and we'll talk about what potential surprises they could have, because time is kind of running out on some of the promises that they at least intended to give us this year, that they talked about last year. So that's it for the live stream. That is the key art. You saw it briefly, but I'll boom it up here. Looks really nice. Looks really nice. They kind of turned Juggernaut into the background villain that they usually have. But this is just the the three uniforms, the one character. For the update, looks pretty nice. No other spoilers or any sort of secrets or clues here. Black Knight looks really cool. Ghost Rider looks really cool. I still maintain that I don't like Voodoo's look, but it's okay. As long as he's strong, that'll fix all the problems, right? The tagline that goes along with the key art is Savage Avengers are coming. This unholy alliance. I thought of like Marvel Avengers Alliance when they said that, or whatever it was called. But anyways, or Ultimate Alliance, the Switch game from a few years ago. This unholy alliance is prepared to defend Marvel Future Fight from supernatural threats. Their approach may be unconventional, but these anti-heroes get the job done. So potentially, depending on my level of psychosis, I would have two reactions and sort of two kind of like what if moments from this blurb of text. The first one would be calling them anti-heroes. Oh, I would think, oh my god, are they finally going to give us like anti-hero as a separate tag? As you know, separate from heroes and villains. It's a separate like filter, right? I don't think they're gonna do that, guys. I don't think they're gonna do that. I hate to, I don't want to get your hopes up, right, and then have them squashed. I don't want to get my hopes up these days. So as much as I would like that to be the case, and then they could, retroactively or in the future they could add in more anti-heroes, like we know Punisher, Moon Knight, right, the other Ghost Riders even, right, like Robbie and stuff like that, or not Robbie. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. They would have to change so much content. Even content that people don't think about, like story mode. They would have to change story mode, because some of the story mode chapters need you to use a hero or a villain. Right? So, anyways, there's a whole bunch of stuff. The other thing that I would get hyped up is them talking about defending Marvel Future Fight from supernatural threats. Just the way it's worded, it sounds like there's going to be some sort of new piece of content that's supernatural. And Commander actually has a funny reply in this where he talks about, oh, what supernatural threat could it be? Could it be Dormammu? Now, yeah, that's certainly a possibility. Dormammu is a big supernatural threat. Doctor Strange is more like his arch rival, whatever, but it could be him. We could be getting a GBR rework, upgrade, difficulty spike. I have a separate video that I'm thinking of putting together on whether Marvel Future Fight is kind of too easy these days. It's just the game is too easy in terms of the difficulty of content, not in terms of like the grind. Obviously, the grind is always going to take a long time. That's not like easy or difficult. It's just long. But is the core gameplay just too easy these days? But that's another thing. Anyways, I'm not going to get hyped up. I'm not going to be expecting personally anything other than the 4 characters. Or the 3 characters, the 3 uniforms, the 1 character. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But this year has just been so disappointing for Marvel Future Fight. And I feel like I'm contributing to my own unhappiness with it by getting overhyped and being like, oh man, X-Men 97, they're going to do so many things. Remember we were talking about Nightcrawler and Magneto and Madeline. Yeah, bro, we didn't get any of that shit. We got fucking Bishop, singular, one singular uniform for the mid-month. And look at what they did to our boy Beast. They did him dirty as hell. So I'm gonna rein my expectations in hella, because yeah, it's not worth it otherwise. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is expectations. Because there's a difference between speculating on things that is just, you know, wording, right? This could just be a translation thing. There's a difference between that, and there's a different, and then what we get in these development team letters where they actually set real expectations. So we're getting in the time machine and we're going all the way back to December 2024. And we joke about it a lot on the channel, where they always release development team letters or letters of appreciation right before or right after Black Friday and the anniversary in April. And they do that obviously to bolster support and confidence in the game, so that players will continue to spend, you know, without hesitation, so that they can continue to make updates and break in the bucks and yada yada yada, right? It's a business. So this is part of the course for them, right? This is 3 weeks. I mean, it's almost 3 weeks after Black Friday, because Black Friday is the last Friday of November. So they did wait quite a long time to drop this, but they still dropped it, right? They still dropped it during Black Friday, and they talked about their plans for 2025. I'm not going to read through all this. I have a video that I did that on whatever, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. It was a long time. But anyways, we can go through now, having done the majority of 2025, and we can see and we can check off what they've done for 2025 relative to what they said they would do. So they talked about update themes, which, whatever, it is what it is. They talked about new events, like competitive ranking events between agents. And yeah, we got that. We got the ranked battle. So that's for sure. They talked about new world bosses after Corvus, Proxima, and Black Swan. We got Black Dwarf, Ebony Maw, and we got Thanos. So yeah, for sure, they did that. They talk about new PvP content that utilizes more heroes. That is the Team Battle Arena. We also got that, check mark. And then the train stops. So they were actually doing really well. They were just boom, 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 hitting all these goals. And then we get to content improvements. Arguably more important than new content, because you have to improve the existing content that players like, right? Call me crazy. Alliance battle improvements. Nope. Multiverse saga improvements and zombie survival improvements. Nope. Convenience improvements or quality of life. Yeah, sure. They've done some quality of life stuff for sure. Not going to deny that. But this is pretty huge. This is pretty huge. The two big content improvements that they promised for this year have still not been realized. And we are 8 months into the year. We only have a few updates. We have the September, October, and November update. Maybe we do a December update this year. I don't know. We have 3 or 4 updates left after this August update. So there's a, if there's only 3 more updates, if they do September, October, November, and then December's like kind of a half, you know what they do in December. If we only have 3 updates after this one, then there's only 4 updates left for the whole year. And let's be real, they're not going to put both of these content improvements in one update. So chances are, we almost have to see one. We don't have to. That's not how, odds work. They obviously don't have to deliver either of these this year. It would be pathetic, don't get me wrong, but it's possible. But it's also possible that we see one of these content improvements in this update. And I think if this update doesn't really have anything else to it, if it's just the 3 uniforms and the character, this is going to be a boring update. Even if the characters are strong, players are going to get bored pretty quickly. It's going to, don't get me wrong, it's going to be refreshing to see strong characters for once this year, but it's going to die down. So they need something, right? So, and in light of new content, which I don't think they're going to put out new content, just improve the base content. So we've been waiting for this for ages. The Alliance battle improvements. We are exploring various directions, such as expanding entry conditions. So that means adding additional conditions. So instead of having the 3 2-week cycles for the 3 effects, maybe adding more or introducing new modes. I'm not a big fan of introducing new modes. There's already 3 modes for Alliance Battle. There's Alliance Battle, Extreme, and Legend. Adding in what? Mythic, Legend Plus. It's just kind of cringy. It's just kind of stupid. I don't know why the devs are so terrified of modifying existing content. But it's something that honestly has a negative impact on the game. I think they should change things more liberally. They should change things more aggressively, and just give players a heads up. You know, if they had just told us at the anniversary, hey, you know, in the next few months, within the next 5 updates, we're going to be expanding the entry conditions for ABL, ABX. Then players will start to get ready for it, right? Now, for example, if they go and they change the entry conditions now and they take out all the Luna stages, there will be players who feel robbed. So unfortunately now there seems like there's more of an argument for not changing the entry conditions. Although I think that's stupid. But the issue is not that they shouldn't change the entry conditions. The issue is that they should just tell us ahead of time. But they're very, very bad with communication. So we kind of end up in this situation where it's like you can get nothing or you can kind of feel scammed. Those are your 2 choices. Feel nothing or feel something and get scammed. So yeah, I do hope that they expand and they modify the entry conditions. Like as real as it is, like as shitty as it is that people bought Luna a month ago and they're not going to be, and they may not be able to use her speculatively. I think it's stupid that she has like 7 days of ABX and ABL that she's available for. She should have like 2-3 max. You know, they have to, like, expanding the entry conditions is also about limiting the number of times you can reuse a character. You shouldn't be reusing Storm 5-6 times. You should have to use other characters. That's kind of the point of the game mode, right? So I'm really hoping that we see the Alliance Battle improvements soon. I think Alliance Battle is a good game mode. I think a lot of players are invested in it. I think it makes sense. The other one here I've been personally waiting for a long time is the Multiverse Saga emblem improvement. They talked about, you know, considering the appropriate volume and direction and planning more accessible ways to obtain emblems, more ways to farm emblems. We haven't really seen that at all. Although this will take time, we are committed to delivering satisfaction to our agents. Okay, yeah. That is like up in the air. We thought it was going to come with the Fantastic Four update. Nope. When the hell is it going to come? And then Zombie Survival. This one is the only one where it makes sense to wait because October is around the corner. Right? 2 months from now, it's going to be Halloween. It makes thematic sense to introduce Zombie Survival multiplayer for the Halloween update, right? We are reevaluating it to better align with the original vision for multiplayer game mode. So you invite a friend and you play together at the same time. Now, adjacent to that, the game has continued to have issues with crashing, particularly in Multiverse Invasion and GBR. Ironically, the 2 biggest co-op game modes. So it's a bit at odds with their vision here if they're not investing enough in servers so that players can actually connect and stay connected to these game modes, even though they don't last very long. Multiverse Invasion is a minute, and GBR is, I guess, up to 10 minutes, but usually it's over within the first 3 or 4 minutes. Now, I understand connecting to a server, you know, globally isn't about the duration necessarily, but it is still a worrying thing, a troubling pattern to notice when we know that at the same time they're trying to make Zombie Survival multiplayer. I wouldn't be surprised if they add Zombie Survival multiplayer, but they also add or keep the feature to do it solo, and then basically depending on how good your connection is, depending on how lucky you are, you can enjoy it multiplayer or you have to just continue playing it solo. But either way, right? This is technically 3 game modes. Multiverse Saga, I know it's not really a game mode, but it's a game mode, right? Technically. So 2.5 game modes worth of content improvements that they've dragged their feet on for 8 months now. What are you guys waiting for? Even just from a logical point of view, you don't want to back end all of this stuff, right? You want to like sprinkle it and spread it out over the year so that players have something to look forward to. Every 3 or 4 months, there should be a content improvement. That way, players always know and they stick around for something. The problem is, because the devs have like very bad communication. That's the first issue. And then the second issue is they're not consistent. They're not consistent. We have this situation. So now, even if we get all of this stuff this year, which I don't think we're going to get, but even if we do get it all this year, what's it going to happen, right? Think about it. We get this in August. We get Multiverse Saga in September, let's say, and we get Zombie Survival in October. But we lost all those players who got tired in February, in March, in May, in June, in July, because there was nothing. So that 8-month dry spell did more damage than, you know, and then just dumping all of this at the end. It's horribly inconsistent, and it's kind of imbalanced as well. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. I think they've handled this year very poorly, and I think it's going to show in the numbers and stuff like that. Hopefully next year is better. Already looking forward to that. Hopefully they get their head out of their ass and they kind of figure things out. But I think a big part of it is just having a better plan, sticking to that plan, and you know, slowly releasing content in a way that makes sense rather than having to crunch it all down at the end because you've delayed it for way too long. It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, boys, expectations lowered for the Savage Avengers update. You're welcome, or I apologize. I'll see. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys on the live stream tonight at 9 Eastern. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you tonight. Like I said, take care.